What's up, everyone? It's Matt Mrozik, aka MVM397, with a update on the GM Sniper 3. Or is it GM Sniper 2? I think it's GM Sniper 3. Not sure exactly. Anyway, it's a 1/72 scale from G-System. This is for my client that I've been building for, and I just want to this will be a short video. Basically, it's a little update. So last night I sprayed everything with another round of Mr. Surfacer 1200. And everything looks really good. I didn't see any really imperfections that need work. So what I do now, and this is just to kind of show you how I work, is once everything's been primed, the final primer, I go ahead and I give it one more last sanding, but it's really more like a buffing. It's not really sanding, because even Mr. Surfacer 1200, you can't see it in camera. It's not perfectly like baby smooth. So what I do is I take a 3M pad, the ultra fine or a micro fine, and I just kind of go over it real lightly. And I'm not really sanding the surface, I'm just kind of just buffing it out. Now this ultra fine pad has been used quite a bit, so it's not very high grit. This is an equivalent to about 1,000 grit sandpaper right here. And this has been really used, so it's perfect for this step because Mr. Surfacer is not a thick primer. Even though I put on like 2 really nice wet coats to give it a good coverage, I don't want to sand through it because this is my last layer of primer. If I sand through, then I'll have to reprime that spot, which I really don't want to do. So I take a really good used ultrafine pad or a relatively used microfine. I don't have any microfine right now, I need to order some more, but I have a whole drawer full of these sanding pads, and I don't throw them out. I keep them because even if they're worn out a lot, they're perfect for this step. So like this is a part of the leg, and I'm just barely going over it real lightly, super quick, and it may show up in camera. Let's see, because he's got a little bit of a shine to it now, so that's like perfect for painting. It's like the perfectly smooth surface for painting. So I get a lot of questions like, how do you get your paint so smooth? Here it is, priming and sanding, lots of it. So as I always say, your paint job is a product of how much time you put into your prep work. So that's it, that's all the sanding I do. I also go through, and on the panel lines, now these are relatively deep, but I always go through and just give them one quick scribe. And I'm using the back side of a used X-Acto blade. So this isn't really sharp, and I just kind of go over it real lightly, and you can kind of see there it's getting out all that extra primer. So I put on 2 really wet coats, and I'm just going through and I go real lightly just to make sure that that panel line is nice and defined. And I do this on all my resin kits because resin takes a lot of priming, and sometimes those panel lines get filled in. So, and this is real quick. Again, I'm not putting any pressure. I'm letting the knife do all the work. And I have like those scribing tools. I've bought those and stuff like that. I have found the back side of an X-Acto blade is the best tool. It gives you a square panel line instead of a V shape. It doesn't get stuck in the resin. I find that the scribing tool wants to dig into the resin and it gets stuck. So this works really well. So that part is all ready for paint. Another quick example, this is like the knee armor right here. Again, I'm not putting any pressure. I'm just going through and giving it a very light sanding / buffing with this pad. And I do this on either this primer and also the Krylon primer. Right before I paint, I always go through and I give it one last little hit with the sanding pad. And again, as you can see, I'm not being super careful. I do want to make sure I kind of get every area. Like this little recess area, I bunch up the sanding pad and I just kind of go in there real light. Same with this little area. And that's got a little shine to it, it's perfect. And again, even though this panel line's relatively deep, I'm going to go ahead and just do a light rescribing on it. So this is my last step on any kit before I start laying my last step on any kit before I start laying paint. So don't put paint down if your surface isn't ready, because it's just going to show through all the layers. Just wanted to focus on my foam pad back there, so hopefully that's just showing up. Maybe a lot of focus, but this is what I do. So that's it. So that's really it for this video, just to show you my final step before painting. I have one little spot that needs some putty work, because when I initially pinned this kit, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, however long it was, I drilled through on accident. So, see, this will focus. You can see a little spot there where I have some of that Bondo spot putty. And once that dries, I'm going to go over it real lightly with a sanding sponge, and it'll be ready to go. And the nice thing about the Bondo spot putty is if it's small enough, you can paint right on top of it. You don't need to prime it. So I probably won't even reprime this piece, because this has already been buffed and ready to go. So here's the shield. The shield was looking really rough the other day. This had the beginnings of a paint application, which was really rough. So I sanded it down, and I put on several heavy wet coats of the Mr. Surface Search 1200, and now it's like baby smooth. I have to go through. Here you can see on this panel line, it kind of got filled in. So again, I'm just going to go in here real lightly and not putting any pressure down. I'm just going to re-scribe that line. Just like that. If I didn't re-scribe it, there would be nothing there to panel line later. Just do that. And we'll go around that whole panel. Real light. And be careful, because if you slip, you have to sand and potentially reprime, which it's not the end of the world. It's just added more steps and more time on that process. So, but that's it. So that's it for this video. I'm going to do some sort of desert scheme, so yellows, grays, and tans. I haven't really looked at my paint stash, but I don't have any camo colors in my paint stash right now, so I'm going to make some custom colors, because I've got plenty of paints to make tans and grays and all that stuff, but nothing just right out of the bottle. So here's what it looks like so far. All these parts I'm going to go over real quick tonight and do that light little sanding and rescribe any panel lines, and then hopefully I will start laying paint once I figure out what I'm doing in the next day or so. But definitely this weekend I'll start putting some paint down. I'll start by painting all the recesses, like on the chest here, those little vents. I'll get those painted. This will get masked, and then I can start painting the larger areas. Same thing on this little piece for the chest. That little vent will get painted. It'll get masked, and then so on. And then even though you really won't see it once they kiss together, we're gonna go through and paint all these recessed panels on the skirts first. Those will get masked, and then I can start laying down the main colors. So this is a really nice kit, and again, this is probably another one that once it's all done, I'm going to be sad to see it go, but it's going to be a fun build. I'm looking forward to it. So that's it for tonight on the GM Sniper. Stay tuned. Thanks for looking as always. It's Matt Mrozik, aka MVM397, signing off. Good night.